All right, here we are. Welcome everyone to the QD meeting. Today is May the 27th. We have a bunch of new people around here. Do you quickly want to introduce yourself, what your connection to QD is, or how you're interested in the project?
Well, I think I can start. My name is Christian, and I'm a software developer from Bavaria in Germany. And my connection to Kured is I use it in my personal projects with Kubernetes. In work, I hadn't used it recently, but it's a cool project, and I contributed to the Helm chart a few months ago. And yeah, let's talk about it.
Michał, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Michael. I'm from Poland, Gdańsk based. I work from a Belfast-based company, which is Kainos. My connection to Kured is recently I've sort of made a contribution with a completely new feature, and I wanted to find out if it's in a good shape to be released in the next major release, so I can basically ditch my fork repository and make it official. Yeah.
Super. Thanks a lot for joining. Well, I'm just going through the, I guess I could share it as well. Where is it? Present now, and this one now. Yep. Because I'm looking at the agenda doc right now, I thought I would just quickly share it. Just checking if there are actions from last time. Last time it was just JP and myself. Yes, we released this. This was merged. I reached out to the Helm chart authors. Hello, Christian. Yes. All right. So we're covered there. Yeah, if you have any agenda items, any things you want to add, please add them to the document. Let me just give you the link real quick. Sweet. All right. So one thing we wanted to talk about today was the Helm chart, as Christian already said. I wasn't aware of this, but since the move to Helm 3, the Helm project has decided to basically obsolete the current charts repository. So the question for us would be if we want to pull in the Helm chart sources into the QD repository itself, so we can more easily maintain things in one place. And luckily, Christian has already some experience with this. One thing we should probably talk about. So on the one hand, I don't have much experience with Helm charts and how things work there. What I did notice when I looked over it was that some additional options were added, or additional features. One of them was called autolock. I can't even remember what exactly it did, but that would certainly be a question if we want to be maintaining this, and yes, if we can maintain this going forward.
Could you clarify a little bit what this extra feature is about?
Yes.
Is there a patch of the code, or
hang on.
just a change of the defaults?
Yes. Where is this? No, what was it? Helm charts QD auto lock enabled. I hope you can read this. Should probably activate autolock to define when to allow QD to be executed. So I saw some issue in the QD repository about it, and I had no idea what it was about. It looks like you can define some cron jobby things in there, but that's really all I know. I have no clue about this at all.
The way I read this feature was that there are deployed 2 cron jobs alongside the Kured deployment, and the lock annotation is set or unset from the node respective to the scheduled. But I think this could be achieved also with the native Kured feature with the time window.
Okay, so that would mean we would need to document this, right? Yeah. Do you have any general thoughts about this? Are any of you using Helm to deploy this? I mean, Christian probably is, but anyone else?
Yes, I use Kured with Helm.
Right. Okay. Yes. How do we move this forward? Okay, so Jean-Philippe is typing. He said he had a quick look at the code, doesn't use the Helm chart. First, I can only see positive outcomes to have the Helm chart in the repo to attract more contributions. Nice one. Yes, maybe Christian, you and I could just take some time, maybe in the next week, to look over this again, just to see if, you know, if you want to make any, like, moving the chart from the Helm charts repository to QD would provide an opportunity, like, if we wanted to make any breaking changes, like rename options or whatever, that would be a good time to do it. So it would make sense to have a close look over it.
Yes, of course.
Sweet. And could you imagine being a point of contact for the chart, at least for the next time? So I mean, I don't expect you to do all the work. Luckily, there's a bunch of people in Weaveworks I could also reach out to for, you know, automating and publishing the charts. But could you imagine being a point of contact and helping out with this a little?
Yes, of course. That's no problem. I can give you information and things I know. It's all okay.
I'll just start documenting some of the stuff we talked about. Does anyone else have any additional thoughts?
I have a question because I haven't followed, I would say, the latest part of the Helm tree and all these kind of changes in the Helm hub. So I remember that there was a feature about providing the Helm charts as images in registries. Is that the way forward, or is that how are the Helm charts supposed to be packaged and delivered? I'm just asking this because it might influence how the repo is structured, or if there are some kind of expectations or something like that.
Yes, the feature of the Helm registry, so that the chart is stored in a normal OCI registry, is experimental since Helm 3. So it could be used. I personally use it in my company at work. It's good. You don't need another registry or something hosted to store your charts. But the CLI commands, the tools which are available for the community aren't available in the aren't available or optimized for registries for now. So the most tools can work with repos, with Helm repos as they are available now, but registries aren't supported as well. I host my personal Helm charts with GitHub pages, and published and linted and tested, they are with GitHub Actions. That's really easy, and there's nothing much to do. And I would prefer this for the Helm repo for Kured 2, if you accept or if you liked it. So it's pretty easy, I think.
Yeah, I like the automation bit. That's for sure. I'm not sure. I'm not a code owner or something like that, so I'm not sure how I will separate that bit of the repository. Daniel is probably the best to handle that part.
So in the Kured repo, it would only be a folder,
Yeah.
and the pipeline files for GitHub Actions or something, other CI service, and then it could be published. The only thing is that every new chart version is also released or is created as GitHub release. So the GitHub releases in the Kured repo would be mixed for Kured releases on the one side and chart releases on the other side. That's the thing to mention there. But if that's no problem, it would be the easiest way to integrate it fully into the Kured repo.
Yeah, so here basically the choice is to have it inside the repo or just have a Kured chart repo, and the Kured chart would be the complete replication of your chart repository, which
Exactly.
sounds super easy. I was thinking also that when you release a new version of Kured, you would build an image, etc., and so you have like a chicken and egg situation first, because the Helm charts need to consume a certain tag, and that would just be tested when you were creating the patch. Anyway, it might make sense to have a different repo in that case.
I can ask the Flux people how they do it. I forgot. I think they do the Flux release first, tag it, and then have a second tag for the chart release, but I might be wrong.
They do all of that in a single repo?
I will find out. I was probably making half of this up.
Well, anything goes. For me, anything goes. It might complex. The reason I'm saying this is because it might make our packaging a little bit complex, because we are automatically fetching from certain tags, and so if we are fetching, I mean, if the tags means two different things, it makes it a little bit harder for us.
Yes, that's correct. Maybe it would be possible to create a second repo for that, for just the Helm chart. Then this problem is solved automatically.
Yeah, I guess it depends on if it's only GitHub releases or it's also or you also want to tag the repository at some point to say that the Helm chart is meaningful to a certain version.
I don't think that's necessary to tag the repo too. I don't think so.
Okay, then it shouldn't be a problem for packaging then.
Cool. All right. I guess Christian and I will sit together sometime next week, and then we can report back. Jean-Philippe, you started looking at Kind and automated testing.
Yeah, I had a quick look. We discussed it last time. What if we were using kind? Well, I'm not sure if it was last time or the time before, or the one before. But I had a look at the minimum no depths kind testing. Have a look at how it would be easy to test QD with kind, including the reboot. It's very ugly. It's just a bash script. But it works, or it used to work. I didn't have the chance to maintain that recently and to have a look and to push that forward. But I will do it in the next weeks or so. I'm not sure when, but I'll try to do it for the next meeting. Finish up that pull request and make sure it's okay for use. I think it's not a necessary replacement of what we have in testing, but it's a convenient other tests.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. So I had a look at it. I just had a couple of nits on the actual code, but I had a chat with the Flux team as well, and they are using a combination of GitHub Actions, the kind action that works really well. So I played around with that already. It takes some time, but it spins up a cluster, and they also use Bats, which is a project for automated testing using using shell scripts, and they even have like some extension of it, so you can more easily write things that test things in a Kubernetes cluster. So because their end-to-end tests do much more, part of the work was, minimizing and tearing out all the stuff we wouldn't need. But I think it would be nice if we don't agree to do it, that's fine with me too. But one reason I like the general approach was that the batch scripts are really easily readable, and it would also make it easier for adding new tests. And what GitHub Actions offers is that you can define a matrix. So we could say we would define like Kubernetes versions, and it would be an array of, let's say, 3 different versions, like the stuff we want to support. And for any given commit, we would run all the tests we have against those Kubernetes versions, which is basically what we want, and it's basically the smoke testing I did for the past couple of releases, which was basically, run Minikube, set up a quick cluster for the last 3 stable versions, and then also do a little bit of testing in our dev environment. But that's all I did, and automating this would be ace. But let's take it one step at a time. It's just my input from doing a little bit of research and a little bit of toying around.
So I guess that for another project, I'm using Travis CI, and I'm using a matrix that depends on the env that is passed. And so I guess that we could already do this kind of testing with that script, because we can just pass the image name, which would be the Kubernetes version. So that would already work. But I'm not against the bat story. I just think that I don't know bats, so I'll have a look. If you prefer that way, it's fine. If it's possible to reuse something that is already existing, so if you say that there is a GitHub action for a kind, which I was not aware of, I should probably have a look at that, because it's probably, if it's enough, it's going to be very helpful. The question is whether we can define the amount of nodes, etc., etc. And so,
yeah, I don't know about number of nodes. That I don't know. But yeah, I'll add links to the meeting agenda later on.
sounds good. Thanks.
Sweet. Christian and Michał, do you have any experience with any of this? Any input?
No, I have no experience with that since now.
Nope, sorry.
Super. All right. Michał, did you bring anything you wanted to talk about?
Yes. So I was in touch with, I think it was Brian.
Yeah.
Brian, yeah, right. About the new feature about doing auto cleanups of annotations in case TTL expired. So the core is sort of merged to master branch, but Brian raised an issue, and I've prepared a fix, and I haven't heard from him since 5 days. So I didn't really want to leave it with bug there, holding your release process. So hoped he will attend this meeting so we can get in touch and discuss maybe this issue further. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry he's not here, but he's a very busy man. He's kind of my joker go-to person whenever there's PRs where I don't know what to do. I'll ask Brian. But if you give me the link to the PR, I'll make sure that somebody takes a look.
Sure.
And thanks a lot for hanging in there. So the backstory to QD is that Adam created the project in the beginning, and since he took on other roles in Weaveworks, at some stage he said, like, I put everything I wanted into QD. So from my point of view, it's feature complete. And since then, we had a bunch of PRs, and I mean, my job is a community manager, so I know what's happening in projects, but I'm not the best person to review all the PRs. But I want to make sure that we build a community and have a new set of maintainers that can make the call, because a lot of people rely on QD. So that's why I'm sometimes, I know I see a PR coming in, but I don't respond to it directly because I'm not the best person to review Go code. So that's the backstory. And also, like, me reaching out to you and others saying, like, we need a new team of maintainers. So that's the backstory to this.
Sure. Just ping you on Slack so you have full context about the composition.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and what do you, regarding the question earlier, you mentioned it in the beginning, it will surely be part of the next release. If we, so I think we have a bit of a new rhythm right now that we almost get new releases out with Kubernetes releases. So we'll definitely make sure that that your feature is in there. And from what you said, it should be pretty close already, close to merging, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because at this moment, it's being sort of the Kured which we are using is being built from my fork, which includes all of this. And basically, I was sort of pushed by my senior team members to figure out if we will still need to use my fork. Basically, what's the situation with that feature? I'm sort of surprised that I'm kind of the only one who observed such behavior within AWS.
Can give us a bit of a backstory? What exactly happened there?
Yes, of course. So my problem was that whenever I use Kured in conjunction with autoscaler, there might be a situation where new node is being brought up and added to the cluster, and then it needs to be rebooted. So the annotation is being added with proper owner, but later on the autoscaling group might decide to remove that node, so it never goes back with the same IP addresses, and the annotation stays there.
Right.
Yeah, and originally I used CoreOS as my main OS for workers. And for CoreOS, there was at some point a project called something like CoreOS Reboot Manager, which had, well, the purpose was very similar, but on design level and internal level, they used the annotation on nodes objects instead of daemon sets. So nodes is being cleaned up automatically. They don't need to figure out any auto cleanup mechanism. So I really wanted to make it as simple as possible without any major architecture rework in Kured. So find out that I could probably do something like that using main loop. I hope that's it.
Yeah, perfect. I wonder if at some stage we could have a test for this, now that we're already talking about automated testing, just to make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen. But I'm not sure how easy that would be to get something like this done.
The feature is disabled by default, but I don't think it would be hard to get that into automated tests, to be fair.
Super. Yeah, thanks a lot for jumping in there and helping out.
Sure, not a problem.
I think that architectural point was discussed in another PR or in another issue. So I should have a look, and maybe we should bring those two together and think about whether we're doing the right thing or not. The PR could still go in any case, but if we need to rethink this architectural bit, we should take all the considerations into it before trying to redesign things.
Yeah, if you can find the PR or the issue again,
I will.
You can take a look. Super. Yeah, in the beginning, when we had the first meetings, Jean-Philippe went through all the open issues and sort of has a full memory of all the issues in PRs right now. So he knows all the discussions. All right. Do we have anything else? Anything you wanted to discuss?
I don't have anything particularly, but for the newcomers, with what you just said, I realized that there might be some, I would say, low-hanging fruits, if necessary. So I should probably tag those PRs with low-hanging fruit on those issues. So this way, people can step up.
Yeah, nice one. I really like that. I'll also make sure that for the next meeting, I reach out a bit more broadly. We get a bunch more people involved in the project. So that's another action for me. All right. It looks like we're done early. Have a great evening, everyone. And thanks a lot for coming to the meeting.
Thank you.
Yes.
Likewise, thank you.
Bye.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
day, everyone. Bye.